and they've been well constructed. It shows you the skill of the Royal Engineers, because they're the ones that oversaw the construction of this 2-mile network of tunnels that we have in this garrison. They were built between 1818 and 1822. So it took 4 years to build the network. So the question is, why did they put those tunnels there? That's really why. And let's use this to illustrate it. We're going to use this square of lawn to illustrate something. Imagine that this is 30 acres in size. And imagine that all around it, let's say on the concrete path, all the way around, sat large barracks buildings that housed 300 soldiers. Sorry, 3,000 British soldiers. In the wet months of the year, this thing had a tendency to flood. It did not drain well, and it became a breeding ground for malaria and yellow fever. Yes, yes. So you had some months as many as 200 people dying in the garrison in the wet months of the year. So they had a big problem. They did not know what malaria was in the early 1800s. They thought it was some kind of airborne disease killing troops. But there was a very clever individual who figured out that water had something to do with the death of these troops. So how did he figure it out? His name was Lord Combermere. He was the governor of Barbados from 1817 to 1822. And he was a soldier. He was a cavalry commander. His commanding officer was a general named Wellington. Does anyone know who he was? General Wellington. Who was he? He defeated Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo. He was the British general that defeated Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo. Okay? No, Combermere was not involved in Waterloo. Prior to Waterloo, he was the cavalry commander. So he had retired, and the British government put this clever man in charge of one of their most important colonies. That's how he ended up here. And what he figured out was simply this: when things dried out, what happened? Men stopped dying. So he ordered men stopped dying. Simple as that. So he realized it has something to do with water. So he basically ordered the construction of a network of drains, and that network of drains was going to take the water off of the savannah and dump it into the ocean. You hit the nail on the head. And that's exactly what these drains did. They worked beautifully. The death rate plummeted for 1 or 2 a month. So they really worked well. Now when you look at the tunnel, you'll see how tall it is. We have a 12-foot section in the tunnel that we're going to see now. We also have a 7-foot section. So most of the network is about 7 feet. And what that teaches us is that the tunnels, yes, they move water, but they could also move people. Yes. Escape, exactly correct. So if the garrison were ever involved in anything and men needed to get out, they could get out through the network. Okay, and that's how these tunnels came into being. So the way things worked was that surface drains drew the water from the savannah to inlets. The inlets allowed water into the tunnel, and then the tunnel transported the water down to the sea. That's how it worked. And it worked well. So we're going to go and take a look at them. They're beautifully constructed. They're 17 feet deep, by the way. So your feet are going to be at 17 feet. They're 2 feet wide. There's a section that's about 30 meters long. That's 12 feet tall. That's when we walk into the tunnel. And the latter part of where we're going is 7 feet tall. You want to, if you want to, the tunnels are lit. You can turn on your phones when you first go in, because it takes a while for your eyes to acclimatize. The ceiling of the tunnel is an arched ceiling like that. Every stone in that ceiling is cut from a nearby quarry. Every stone is identical, all cut perfectly, fitted together in the shape of an arch, sealed on the outside with a lime paste, which stopped water coming down through the joints between the stones, and that preserved the ceiling. So the ceiling would not collapse and cause the system to malfunction. Okay? After that, everything that had been taken out of the trench that they dug 17 feet deep went back in on top of the cap, and the entire system disappeared underground.
Is there a slope to it to drain it?
Absolutely the perfect slope. It's don't know the exact height of it, but you can't feel it. But it was perfectly sloped. The floor of the tunnel was also plastered to allow free running of water down to the sea. So they did everything they could to make sure that water got down to the sea effortlessly.
Do they ever flood now?
Never. They've never, ever. We have never seen more than 8 inches of water in those tunnels. Never seen more than 8 inches. Basically, a lot of the network has been destroyed by modern development. But this tunnel that runs under this property still functions. And what's happening is you have a ring road around the savannah. That's a modern road for cars. And basically it's drained to the inlets that let the water in and take the water down to the sea. So it's still functioning today. Okay? He was on a ship called the Success, and they're not that big. They were very small. I mean, the draft was between 6 and 8 feet, which is not big. That's not a big ship. It's a large sloop. Look at that. See that? Look at that. And this thing is dead straight. Perfectly flat.
Halloween.
The Royal Engineers really knew what they were doing.
You good, Karen?
Yeah. I'm like, ooh.
I was worried about you.
I'm like, what's gonna get me? Spiders or something? Oh, wow.
But it might be one or two.
Woo!
And I'm not lying either. But they're not going to hurt you.
Okay. I'm like, ooh, what's gonna get me? Something fun.
It's kind of similar to like the Romans.
No, Milo would not.
Well, the British learned a lot from them, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they would have learned a lot from the Romans.
This would be a nice sneak out.
It is an ideal escape route because, listen, we didn't even think these things were here until 2010 or 2011. I had heard about them my whole life. I'd never seen them. I had never seen them.
This is incredible.
2010?
10, 11, yeah. Me personally.
Oh.
And Barbadians heard about them. There are people that did know about them, but not many people had actually seen them. And most people thought that these things weren't real. But we stumbled onto them ourselves at that time. We brought them to light with the press. And now everybody knows that they're real. Yeah. There's just a few more meters to go. You can also see in this wall that there's brick here, right down to here. So in the 12-foot section we came in on, the bedrock is all the way up to the surface. But the tunnel had to be lowered because the bedrock is diving going in this direction. So they had to lower the tunnel, but they couldn't lower it more than 7 feet in height because of people. But they built up the sides with brick in order to get a level in here, in order to get the cap in. And these caps are,
You have construction nowadays, it can't be that.
no, they can't. And I mean, it's not as precise as, say, the pyramids in Egypt. They don't even know how that happened.
Yeah, I
You can't figure it out.
go down those rabbit holes.
I've never ever been there, but
Well, I mean, just
yeah.
like trying to figure out.
trying to figure out how did they do it. How did they move those stones?
It's still
Yeah, they don't know.
amazing.
Yeah. So we can just gather up top in the shade and I'll be right up with you. You guys okay? I hope I didn't bang you.